Vegas. It is us, Raider Fan Radio. And as you can see, Raider Rob is back with you, along with the beautiful black hole Steph.
Yo!
And StonerDude is back. He has returned.
I heard you missed me. I'm back.
No, that's right. And,
I don't got a pencil. I got a black magic marker. Will that work?
That works.
Yeah.
Cool.
What's up, Raider Nation? Good to see you. Hope everybody's doing all right out there. Hope you're, feeling real good after that win in Cleveland. And anyway, make sure you hit us, of course, at True Raider Nation at Yahoo, and of course, Stone. You want to show the people where they can hit us?
Oh yeah, you can hit us at RaiderFanRadio@gmail.com.
That's
Just
right.
like-
Or you can comment right here on YouTube.
You can even send us a voice recording of your call, and we'll get it on the air.
You can do that.
You can. Totally
We got the
do that.
technology.
That's right. Record your phone call, send it in to us, and those top calls are going to get put on the air so that everybody can hear the nation speak.
Oh, they could be our Raider Fan Radio top caller.
They could be a Raider Fan Radio top
Yeah,
caller. That's
caller.
fascinating considering we have top callers right here. Can you top them? I don't think so.
Yeah, they
But you
can
can
try.
definitely leave a
They can
message
try.
for us. Yeah.
Hope everybody had a cool Halloween for what it was. It's one of my favorite holidays. So it was cool that football was played on Halloween weekend. You got to see a lot of costumes for fans that were allowed in stadiums, and of course in Cleveland. Raider fans, there was some inside who were dressed up. It's always a dress-up clash there between us and the dog pound. So, but it was nice to see. Hope everybody was at a safe one and all that, and everything was cool out here in Vegas. And so that's what's up. We're here in Vegas. We're getting ready, of course, for what's coming up next. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow what?
Tomorrow.
Oh wait, yeah.
Oh, right.
So right tonight is the eve of the 2020
Selection.
presidential
Selection. Yeah.
It's selection season. Mm-hmm. But before we get into all that,
We're not going to get into all that.
If you know Raider Fan Radio history, you don't want to do that.
Watch your back.
Yeah.
And there aren't good people on both sides. Okay, and have a good
Raider
time.
Fan Radio exclusive.
Enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
But tonight we once again, last week we did get some response from the last show, by the way. Well, the last show I was on. We'll talk about show number 4 with Rob and Steph. But before that, we did the dedication to Eddie Van Halen. That's DEAD, dedication.
Yes.
And we got some response. Our Raider Homer responded. He's a big fan, but he's a little bit more of a fan of Zach Wilde, he says.
Yep.
Which is great. We love Zach Wilde, too. Frankly, I think Randy Rhoads was the only real guitar player for Ozzy Osbourne. But I like Zach Wilde. And Eddie Van Halen, by the way, you know how Al Davis always said, no other team is known for their colors?
Right.
Right.
What other team can you say by their colors alone, silver and black, you know who they are?
Right.
With Eddie Van Halen, if you see a stripe or 2 or 3 more stripes on a guitar, you think Eddie Van Halen. It doesn't matter. You see stripes, you see Eddie Van Halen. And there's a picture, an image we'll get here on the internet as well, of Eddie Van Halen at Castle Donington concert, Monsters of Rock,
Okay,
1984.
over there in England, yeah.
1984, and he has a L.A. Raiders, Los Angeles Raiders T-shirt,
Right.
number 32, Marcus Allen. So
Right.
obviously, maybe I think Eddie Van Halen was a fan, just like that. Number 32. But tonight we dedicate the show to someone we're a huge fan of all our lives. We're all children of the 60s into the 70s. And that is one Sir Sean Connery.
The one and only.
This show is
Sean
dedicated to you, you sexy man. International man that nobody could touch. You are the only Bond in my book.
Yeah,
personally.
for me he's James Bond.
He was never shaken. He was always stirring up
Yeah.
the shit against
Right.
all the iconic villains, throughout the Bond series that he was the lead on. And yeah, you're right, Stone.
I was born into the gold, the
only
Goldfinger
Bond.
era,
Yeah, Goldfinger.
Thunderball.
Oh yeah,
Dr. No.
Doctor No.
I mean, I also love, of course, his role in Highlander You know, the movie Highlander.
Yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
big movie for me back in 1985.
Right.
And of course, The Untouchables. When he
Never
played-
bring a gun. Never bring a knife to a gunfight.
I love that,
I love
man.
that line.
What are you prepared to do?
Right.
Oh man, I love that. So,
And then I saw him in a movie, A Throwaway, one day. I went to a theater in Berkeley because I was into this Catherine Zeta-Jones chick when she first came out.
Right.
I was trying to figure out if she was black. I thought she might have been light-skinned, and I was doing a lot of drugs right then. No, I'm just
She might
playing.
have been light.
Yeah, I thought she had her features.
So
Like
light-skinned.
I didn't catch it at first, you know. So I was really intrigued by her, and it was the movie. I forget the name of it now, but she was
Entrapment.
Entrapment, yeah,
Right, 1999.
1999.
And
Entrapment,
he
exactly.
made her career because nobody really knew who she was before.
Exactly.
That was before she was married to Michael Douglas, and then the whole thing with the, getting cancer of the throat from giving fellatio was supposedly.
is that how you get it?
Supposedly that's how it happened to him.
Wait, you talking about Michael Douglas?
Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas got throat cancer from eating box. Is
Which is,
that what you're saying?
I mean, that's what he said.
Okay.
But
You're just quoting Michael Douglas.
Yes, this
Okay.
is before he married Catherine Zeta-Jones. He was right.
He had
like
a
she
throat
was-
ailment. He was looking for an out. But anyway, that was before he married Catherine.
That was a good movie because of him. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, she was good in it
Yeah.
too, but he made her good.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Indiana Jones in the Last
Dr.
Crusade.
Jones, Father
Man.
Jones.
Hey, he was
Yes.
in The Rock, too.
Right.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage, San
Right,
Francisco, and
he's in The Rock.
Which
Alcatraz.
starred a
Right.
friend and associate of mine, the comedian Linnell. She was also from Oakland. She's also was in The Rock, one of her first big roles. But yeah, Sean Connery
90 years, man.
was, yeah.
He lived a life.
He lived
Yeah.
a
That's
life.
how we want to go, man. Living hard and
Right.
long.
He is the quintessential when you now, after his debut as Bond and through the years of his first incarnation as Bond, because he left the Bond series for a while. Roger Moore, of course, replaced him on Moonraker. But
Right.
then what happened, Spy Who Loved Me. But then Connery came back for Never Say Never.
He's the only guy that come back.
Again.
Right.
To come back
Exactly.
as Bond.
And he was
a
older.
major character.
He was older.
Right.
That was in
Yeah.
1983,
Right,
yeah.
Right.
That's huge.
But he was the
Only Sean
quintessential
Connery can do that.
example and model, the template for the suave British, laid back, cool martini drinking, ascot wearing, smooth with the
Yeah.
ladies, always cool under pressure, always had an answer, always had an out, always had an in too. He just was kind of the well-rounded, sophisticated male example of the 70s, like Stone said,
60s,
and 70s.
60s, yeah.
60s,
And into the 80s too,
Yeah.
just even in Hollywood as an actor, as Sean Connery, just always revered as a classy, cool, smooth cat, man. And some of the greatest lines in movie history have come from him as James Bond.
Kind of like Clark Gable in a lot of ways, except
Huh.
like the pre Clark Gable is like now he just kind of took that over, that smoothness, the one-liners that are famous forever, the good looks. It's fascinating.
When you think about it, there's really not, now we're kind of getting deep here as far as actors and kind of cultural icons. There aren't that many nowadays that resemble that or represent that type of
Resonate, yeah.
legend.
Yeah.
There just isn't, So
Right.
I guess that's why we kind of look back and, when we see our childhood heroes leave, I mean, again, he lived a good long one. So I'm very happy and proud for that for
And
him.
for all you
Yes.
film buffs and particularly younger folks,
They don't make 'em like that no
that are
more.
in the movies, they don't make them back there. But revisit the James Bond series with Sean Connery because
Right.
his acting
Go back in
and the
time,
production
please.
with the location. Bond was known, the movie series, for being at all these international locales. Rather it was Fiji, rather Bali,
Right.
Africa.
Now it's
Paris.
all CGI.
Yeah,
Right.
you
You used
but-
to have to go there and be there.
yeah,
And feel it.
You will see his great acting chops of how he's the British agent, but no matter where he was in any region in the world, he could adapt to that culture, and it would just be transitional, again, with its smoothness and with the British cool. And it was just, something to watch him as the actor with the backdrop of all these different cultures he would be in. Live and Let Die.
Oh man.
In New Orleans. I mean, just
No, Live and Let Die was Roger Moore.
Was that Roger Moore?
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
He stands corrected.
Yeah, I stand corrected. I stand corrected.
I mean, and then one more, Marnie, which I like that Alfred Hitchcock. He was like. Those are some
Real
of the famous
classic.
directors, but that was
Real
a good
classic.
flick.
Real classic. So anyway, the dedication tonight, of course, is to the great and the late Sean Connery. As Stone said, 90 years, man. That is a blessed life. And he did it on his terms. Yeah.
Nice laugh.
He did it on his terms. This to you, Sean.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, you know what? I was gone for the last show, for show number 4. We are now here today for number 5. Number
Chaos.
5 is alive.
Yeah.
And I have to say, great job, Black Hole Steph and Raider Rob. Great job.
Oh, the Colorado.
Thank
you.
I was fascinated.
I'll smoke to that.
I was a listener. I was a viewer. I could see. I also have some comments of my own. Just like you can have comments right here.
I told y'all he was going to have some
And of course,
comments.
you can also have your comments at RaiderFanRadio.Gmail.com.
Yeah, you can do that too.
But I found it fascinating. There was intrigue. It was mysterious.
Oh.
It was cryptic.
Oh.
It was revealing. It was a little bit of Raider Rob Uncovered. You gave us a little bit of insight into your upcoming book coming up. But there was one thing that definitely stood out, and I know we're going to talk a little bit about this today. Of course, your criticisms, and again, rightfully so, these are your opinions of our quarterback, Derek Carr. But you did go as far as saying that if Derek Carr was to win a Super Bowl with the Raiders,
That's the part you caught.
right? You said, I saw you.
Raider Fan Radio.
All you gotta do is go look back at the show. It's right there on YouTube. Okay? It's right there on YouTube. You said that you would, and I quote, you would be half naked on the strip wearing a Chargers jersey.
Ooh.
If Derek Carr was to win a Super Bowl. And I was thinking to myself, well, how do you be half naked?
He cannot
first of all?
prove that.
No, I can. It's there on YouTube. Everybody saw it. So half naked, I don't know how you do that, but I'm sure you'll figure it out. But is that naked under a jersey?
Yeah.
Okay. Now
That's the half part.
Redhead,
The
you
jersey.
just helped yourself right
The
there.
half part is the jersey.
Because it could have been no pants.
Yeah, there's no pants.
that's what
I'm
half
wearing
naked
the
is.
jersey.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to
I could be
figure
half
out.
naked and be naked, but
No. He's wearing the jersey. The other half, he's literally putting his ass on the line there in the front.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole deal.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, would that be a powder blue Chargers jersey or a more 80s with the yellow lightning bolt and the darker blue? Which jersey would that be?
You know what?
Do I get a choice? Can I have a word in this?
You may get a choice, but I might tap into a couple of my old Charger compadres that I do happen to know that I still I don't still keep in contact with, but I can contact him. Boltman is one, known him for many years, the former costumed fan that dressed like a Charger Bolt. And another friend of mine that I know in San Diego, they're Charger fans. I might get the Charger fans, get them to come on and tell me what I should wear if that happens. But it's not going to happen. So I'm not really worried about it. But yeah, maybe sure, Stone. Which one would you have me wear?
I'm just saying
Which
that
one would you have me wear?
I would go, well, if you're going to go half naked on the street, you got to go powder blue.
The powder blue.
oh man,
Old school powder blue.
Yeah, well.
And you also said, as it said there on the YouTube channel, that you are 95% right on your calling it. And you're great at calling it. I will say, I've seen it for 20 years. But I'd say one of the 5% would be like, I don't know, Brady Quinn.
Remember when you that was a terrible moment, Rob, because that next week Brady Quinn did some ridiculous crap,
Stone
like
pointed it out,
standing
too.
with a group of dudes with their hands down their
He
heads.
really wanted that Brady Quinn.
Well, I was where I was talking last week about Trevor Lawrence. I was in a box office mode. I mean, we were really stinking in Oakland. Who would we just come off of messing with? Was it friggin' Aaron Brooks? Or
I
maybe
was thinking to myself, how many of all the
yeah.
different quarterbacks we've had over the past, I don't know, 15 years or so?
Charlie Fry, I don't know who it was, but this kid had gotten all the pub in Notre Dame, and then you want to try to put him in the place of being like maybe another Montana coming out of Notre Dame and lightning will strike twice. But I was thinking box office, good looks, that old thing, Oakland, like, we need to get some, interjection of star power or something to get this team going, because we've just been through the doldrums all of the years after the loss in San Diego to the Bucks in the Super Bowl. So anyway, that's what I was thinking would bring.
And I understand the whole...
And I was wrong.
I understand the whole idea of the Trevor Lawrence, or as you put him, Trevor Raider, with the matinee good looks and the Brad Pitt of the NFL and all these things. But I'm going to go on record right now saying that I am a Derek Carr fan, and I back Derek Carr, and I believe, and we'll talk about that more in depth here as we get into the game.
Do we have to?
Yes, we're going to. We're going to do it, because he's our quarterback, man. And I believe that we can. We get this team.
He's Jack Del Rio's quarterback.
Right now he's Gruden's quarterback.
No, he's not.
Right now he's Gruden's quarterback.
He's not. Gruden has no. Let me tell you, Raider fans, this Gruden that love Derek Carr. Gruden and like to throw the whole, well, you can't trade him, and Gruden will work out with him. And all. He's not Gruden's quarterback. This is the same as you going into a company as the new CEO or the new general manager or supervisor, and you have to bring in or want to bring in your own people. Companies merge. One company absorbs the other company, gets rid of the old.
People like their own guys.
This is Reggie McKenzie, from the now ex-GM, and Jack Del Rio, ex-head coach of the Raiders pick. So, just on GP, so y'all know what time it is, in case you forget, there is no obligation from Chucky to Derek Carr. It's not his pick. Okay, so, let's just keep that in mind, all you Carr backers.
Okay, then we'll get into Derek Carr a little bit more involved in the game, because, yes, there was a game, and the Raiders won. Woo! That's always huge. And not only did they win, but it was a classic cold and windy day in Cleveland. I mean, to beat, a lot of people are saying that, Cleveland's not one of the elite teams, and there's reasons why they're kind of downplaying this game. The fact that it wasn't a high-scoring game, it wasn't the long bomb or anything like that. It wasn't flashy, but it was very cold. It was wet, extremely windy.
Yeah.
I mean, that first kick that Daniel Carlson missed, I mean, it was like a cartoon. Or you ever seen that show Bewitched? Right, Gene Magini, where they would do something like that and something crazy would happen? I mean, it was going right for the uprights and went, wait, my left. Okay, it went like that out of nowhere. And from that point, you're like, I was. What kind of day is this going to be? Right? That was
35, 40 mile per hour winds, man. Yeah.
But it was but to see the Raiders go on the road after being criticized of not being a cold weather team, which they're not, but they haven't done good on the East Coast. But think about this year. They beat Carolina over there opening day. They went into Cleveland, which is a tough place to play. It's the Cleveland Browns. It's Cleveland. It's the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's a storied franchise. So to go there and beat them in the cold like that, to me, was something that definitely, that's what we wanted. We wanted to come home after a win, knowing we're going to go back into LA next week. And the fact of the matter is that they did it. It's done. And they did it again without Trent Brown. Their starting tackle out of the gate. Obviously, that was a big deal before the game even started.
He was missing, but the O-line is who I give my game ball to. The O-line, good, and Colton Miller can be a stellar All-Pro.
That's Gruden's guy.
Yes, if he gets keeps working on his feet action, keeps working on his lateral movement. But it was great to see the cohesiveness. It was great to see them recover from the times where there were some breakthroughs from Myles Garrett and some of the guys in the D-line. And, they were able to recover. They didn't get into a funk. They didn't, find themselves making too many penalties or what have you. Not too many mental errors at all on the offensive line.
Right.
And they hustled their ass off on those blocks. I mean, the running game was stellar. This kid Booker, the punishment he was dishing out. I was talking the last show about needing that change of
He's not a big back, but he gets hard yards.
He's a solid guy. He's a solid back. He's a solid back. And Jacobs, what could you say about him? I mean, just a stellar performance, young man. Just showing your
31
speed.
carries, 120
Yes,
yards.
showing your speed inside and out. I don't really like you being ran inside so much, but you can take a punishment. You know how to get your shoulder down, and just your moves, your field awareness, knowing where you are at all times on the field. Again, like I implore Chucky to do, pull them guards, pull them tackles, get Jacobs out there in space, out there in the flat, and let him get open, because he's so dynamic in the open field with his vision and how he can cut and his speed. So
the fact that you, I'm sorry, Steph.
And Rashard, you played a great game
the
too.
The fact that we got, and this was my criticism about Darren McFadden back when I didn't want him either, but we got him.
Oh yeah,
he was supposed to be the home run king and that could outrun everybody, but he didn't have moves. Right. And we finally have a running back, and he is the best young running back for the Raiders since Marcus Allen, who we've already mentioned twice today. We've had lots of great running backs: Napoleon Kaufman, Charlie Garner. You know, but I'm telling you, man. Well, you already know this. There's something special of Josh.
We got Marshawn kind of late.
There definitely
got Marshawn kind of late in his career, and he was uninspired. But yeah, you know.
But as the color analyst said so poignantly, we haven't been able to throw deep with any type of accuracy. Everybody sees it. You know, they're commentating on it because when you get to the red zone, you want to score. How many times have we gotten that close and not been able to pull it off? Or Derek calls some kind of timeout where he's got to go and talk and that kind of thing.
Timmy.
It's like, and that one touchdown with Ruggs would have been a touchdown if it had been for his timing.
Well, you know what? This is the thing with him. He's he's in
gotta have touch.
He's in that window of, the criticisms. And please understand, when I criticize Derek Carr, one, it's just because I don't like him. I don't like his style, and I don't think he's a gutty and gritty enough quarterback to get us over the top in clutch moments. Okay, and that's just the bottom line. To me, he's not a killer. Russell Wilson's a killer. You know what I'm saying?
Clearly,
this kid, Justin Herbert,
true.
as I told y'all a couple of weeks ago, and Patrick Mahomes, those are killers. So, we know who the killers are. He's not a killer, to me. Okay, but this does not mean I want Derek Carr to fail, all right? And I don't want the Raiders to lose. Okay, so just understand that. My criticism of Carr is not wanting to see Carr do bad. Now, you fans out there that getting, on your high horse about game management, you get on your high horse about that he's competent and look at his stats. This ain't baseball, but whatever. Okay, his stat line.
He did run for 41 yards this time.
Well, he's missed a lot of 41-yard days, okay, that could have possibly led to victory.
See, that's what I mean.
If he'd have ran Green Bay last year.
He did it this time, but then...
Exactly. And I got an example for that. He reminds me of Terrence Long, was this player that played for the Oakland A's for a while.
Right.
That was a guy that was a utility player, and he played the outfield or whatever. But the thing about Terrence Long was he was a fuck-up, okay? And he wasn't always mentally into the game, but whenever you would get on him about fucking up, like he's gone 1 for 3, he'd come up his fourth at bat and hit a 2-run single. You know what I'm saying? And we'd win the game. So when you were really to dump on him and really get rid of him and want to, kick him to the curb, he'd do something to keep maintaining the job. You know what I'm saying? So he does enough to get by. And that's, Derek Carr.
That's a fair criticism. You're right. I agree with that.
The bottom line with me is, you ever been in a family? Y'all had a car for a long time. The whole
car that stuck around too long.
The whole family's been out that afternoon. It just was a bad day. When it was all surrounded around the car. Maybe there was a flat tire or something like that. And one of the kids at the dinner table goes, "I'll be glad when we get a new car." Well, that's where I'm at. Okay, I'll be glad when we get a new car. 14 for 25. Okay, 112 yards, 1 touchdown, no interception. That's great. Like I said, for all of y'all that like game management, he gave you what you wanted. He managed the game, and he managed not to lose it.
But even you said 2 weeks prior to that, when they won in Kansas City, that you were convinced because he was able to throw the ball downfield.
That was a convincing
What am I,
win.
Jeffrey Epstein?
That was a convincing win.
Yeah, it was a convincing win. And then what happens the next week? There's no consistency, and that's the bottom line with him. You can win a game, you can have a great day, you can have great moments, and he has had them. But can you, combine all of those things together, and again, including your presence on the field, the confidence, exuding that. Yes, he does it, but he always does it in a way that it's like kids that want you to always watch him. Look, Stone, look what I can do. Look what I can do. You know, as if they've been doing it all along, but they don't. Right. And then he runs over to make sure everybody knows. And he's, doing that Tony Romo shit.
He does get a little excited, I think, for the dumbest
overly excited.
Okay, you ran for a first down, I get it.
Exactly.
Right. Get back on the line. That. You don't do it all the time, so get back on there.
Yeah, just go do it. I never seen it's funny because, well, it's not funny. Here's the irony. When Madden started becoming popular a few years back, and they would show teams like the Raiders, of course, because that's what we played all the time, was Raiders on Madden. They would show the quarterback make a play, and on the Madden video of the game, on the screen, they would be doing chest bumps and jumping in the air and celebrating. And I was thinking to myself, and this is back, when Gannon was kind of our guy. I'm like, you don't see Gannon doing stuff like that, And any quarterback, you didn't see... you didn't see Peyton Manning or anybody do that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Now we're in this new age where these quarterbacks are out there trying to pump it up like the wide receivers and the running backs and trying to mix it up.
But his enthusiasm comes off a little pretentious at times, to me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. To me, it's more reminiscent of the video game type of generation than it is actual real enthusiasm. Or maybe it's a combination of both. Frankly, for me, I don't need to see that, but people like it. I get it, but I get it. Again, I also think he's I still see him as a leader. I think he's learned Gruden's offense and gotten better at under it for the past 3 years.
How many kids?
Made a lot of improvements.
How many children you think are asking for Derek Carr jerseys for Christmas?
At least 12.
Okay,
your point's made.
I'm not trying to convince anybody to see my point. I'm just trying to get Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I understand. Trevor Lawrence is a potential star.
Now, this is from Crunch, Raider Crunch, and he's
our Crunch,
Raider
my Crunch bar,
world famous costume fan from the Oakland Raider Nation.
Another influential fan.
Did he comment or contact us at RaiderFanRadio.gmail.com?
Actually, he did, and he really texted.
You're supposed to say yes.
I know, but I can't lie. But anyway,
you need to work on that.
My thoughts are usually right. This is the era of just straight line. Straight line.
What you been doing the last 4 years?
The mask will help you.
So what did Crunch say?
He said, my thoughts are usually based on, this is an unofficial poll, and asking him what his thoughts on Carr was. And he said, my thoughts are usually based on how long the Raiders plan on keeping him. He said, he's led us to the postseason once. Not all of the Raiders' struggles are on him.
Like Tony Romo.
But I think that he's another quarterback the Raiders have probably wasted. They've only ever drafted one quarterback that has led them to the championship level.
Kenny Snake Stapler.
That was Kenny Stapler.
That was a long time ago.
Right.
Long time. But meanwhile...
Well, it's good to hear from you, Crunch.
Back in Cleveland, Carr did play an inspired game. He did throw a touchdown, Hunter Renfrow. He did lead the offense, multiple times down the field into scoring position like Steph. In spite of not being able to punch it in, it was still encouraging to see the Raiders moving the ball. We've already talked about the dominance of the offensive line, and how cohesively they played. On the other side of the ball, it was also an inspired play. And I just want to say this to my boy, John Abram. He's got the attitude that I've been talking about. And if you can
absolutely
bottle that up, and the rest of you guys, every play for 60 minutes, we're on to something. Mm-hmm. Okay, now you were all inspired, and you all played physical football. There were some adjustments. Chucky had to go over there and get in y'all ass for a minute. That was beautiful, because that's what I've been talking about. In-game adjustments, get in the ass, get the intensity up, and show the intensity. You got to lead by example, coaches. And I got, again, back on the other side of the ball real quick, props to you, Tom Cable, for having...
Whoa.
Props to Tom Cable.
A couple weeks ago, I just heard you said you didn't like Tom Cable. Now you're giving props to Tom. I'm saying, Tom Cable, I think...
Who am I, Donald Trump? Yeah. What the hell's going on here? I'm getting... This is fake news.
Wait, no, it's not. Watch the past show.
I didn't like Tom Cable.
I didn't like Tom Cable.
I didn't like Tom Cable when he was our coach. Okay.
I liked Tom Cable when he was. Why didn't you like Tom Cable when he was our coach? I liked him
because we lost.
I liked how he punched out that Randy Hansen dude.
He also punched out his ex-wife.
Yeah.
Well, don't fuck with Tom Cable.
That's one way you can look at it.
I've got many people that I don't like, but I can respect their accomplishments.
Right.
And I just have to give them, no, seriously, when it comes to coaching, something that we're big on, have always been on, is preparation. You know, old Raider Mort used to always talk about preparation was the key. You know, no matter who was on the field, if you got them prepared, you've got a chance. Mm-hmm. And we won because the guys that were there and the guys that were, you know, plugged in, you know, Young had to go out and Barker had to come in, Parker had to come in, and what have you. Good, of course, is still learning his way, but they played cohesively, and that's preparation, and that's the coaching, and that's Cable. So I got to give it up for him.
Yeah.
You know, the defensive side of the ball, I want to throw out there is a name that we don't talk about that much. Nobody talks about it, especially on the national level, and that's Nick Morrow. Nick Morrow is one of those guys who's been kind of sticking around for a while. He doesn't get cut, but yet he's not the guy everybody talks about.
Right.
But he goes out there, he makes plays, he gets interceptions.
Right.
He gets his hand on the ball.
Right.
This particular,
he's a role player.
I could consider him a blue chipper or a lunchbox type player. Mm-hmm. He's just that guy who just sticks and stays. Those are the kind of guys that's how you win championships. Because you can't have stars at every position.
That's right.
But if you got a guy like Nick Morrow, who in this case, Nick Kwiatkowski, who I'm starting
he played
to like,
a great game.
Man.
That he hits guys like a brick wall.
Yes, plays great game.
I mean, he
Number
just
44.
he just puts it on the line every single time and levels people.
Yep.
On the first quarter, he stripped the ball. Nick Morrow picked it up.
Right.
You know, these are the kind of guys that we need that not everybody talks about all the time. They don't get all the national spotlight or attention or the big paychecks, but they're helping us win.
And another little intangible along the lines of you saying, you know, people that no one's talking about, another little nuance that I've been talking about and that, you know, is part of the game and that the Raiders hadn't been doing was the pre-snap looks on defense in their package. When you're in that base 4-3, you know, it's just four guys in a line. The linebackers are all 5 yards and everybody can see what it is. It's so predictable, you know, but they did a lot of different pre-snap looks and I was really happy to see that. Like you said, Nick would be in the A gap. He might jump into the B gap just before the snap, or they might back off when they were cheating up the DBs, Lawson and Joyner coming into the gap. You know, that plays a lot psychologically, you know, in football because it's a mental game, and so you got to play with motherfuckers' heads, even if it may, you know, you may be at home on your couch going, well, what does that got to do with anything? It's got a lot to do with it, or who cares? When's the ball snapped? It is. It's a mental game, and so you want to give that quarterback something to think about. Is that DB coming or not? But just sitting in a zone where he knows where you are, well, then that's where you can audible and kill you underneath and all that and blah, blah, blah. And so that was great to see. It was great to see the defense, you know, like he says, Big Nick Kwiatkowski,
I know it's the hardest name. Kwiatkowski.
There you go.
Hello to Poland. That sounds like a Polish name. Hello, Poland. Hello.
You know, LaMarcus Joyner's been taking
Littleton played better too.
LaMarcus Joyner's been taking a lot of criticism, and rightfully so. You know, what I kind of like about this team is that Coach, first of all, is calling people out every week. He's calling out the defense. He's calling out the you know, the coordinators. He's calling, and then what we see is either those guys are gone, or they're stepping up and they're responding to that type of attention or that criticism.
Right.
In the case of LaMarcus Joyner, he's had some nagging injuries. People say he's been playing out of position or they're not using him to his strengths. But I know this. When the game did matter in the fourth quarter, when the Browns were starting to try to come back and put points on the board to try to get back in it and try to win it, LaMarcus Joyner defended a couple passes in the red zone.
Yeah.
And those are those key plays. When I think about guys like, say, Witten, and I know that we're having, you know, Trent Brown's having his problems, but when you get to the point where you're actually getting into the playoffs and you can get that far, and those guys can go out there and make that one play or two plays or whatever. It matters. That makes the game. You win or lose.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're staying with these guys, and it's good that they're playing up to their abilities, and it's getting better. And we're 4-3 now. We're actually more wins than losses for the first time in a while.
And we got takeaway, too. We got that big fumble, and that was great. And we'll get more takeaways. And the pet peeve for me still with defense, and, to flip back to what Stone was just talking about when it comes to giving the defensive backs their props. Great game by them, solid game, some key moments, some real clutch plays made, like he said, and a great save by Joyner, of course, in the fourth quarter there. But the thing that will make you even enhance that more, where we'll get more takeaways, okay, is if you play the ball. It's just been my pet peeve this year. I've been seeing it a lot in the NFL, not being played. Watched a lot of college football this past Saturday, particular game of La Tech playing UAB. And just watching these young guys, they were playing the ball. There was a lot of turnovers, interceptions, good defensive play. And I see it lacking in the NFL, and particularly with the Raiders, because we have such speedy DBs, they can keep up with a lot of the average receivers they're coming up against right now. They're not really coming up against a lot of big-time star, fast wide receivers. And that's the problem. And, tonight I want to show you what I mean, because there's a way to defend against that. Steph, will you help me out here?
What's going on here?
There's a way to defend against
What are you doing?
We're going to do a demo here. I want to show these guys because...
Wait. Are you going to actually show?
Yes.
You're going to do a little coaching?
Yes,
Raider Rob coaching by Raider Rob.
Playing the ball is key, and playing the ball is easy. Now, I know you're taught, okay, and I played linebacker in high school, okay, and played football, and I know my shit. But, okay, what you got to do, other than keeping your eye, as they tell you in fundamental coaching, on the receiver's eyes, is that you're watching what the receiver is doing. Okay, get over
Wait, what kind of video is this?
All right. Now, me and Steph are just going to run side by side. Get down on your crotch like your receiver. Okay, she's going to come out of her receiving stance. I'm guarding her, okay, and checking her up as a DB. Okay, we're going to call it hike. And then she's just going to run in formation, and I'm running alongside her. I'm the DB, okay? And hold on, let's tilt this just a little bit so the people can get us here.
Yeah. I'll be camera guy.
And Steph's running. Now, you're DB on her.
That's how you do it?
You're watching the arm.
What?
When you see the arm or the hand go up, because most DBs are running with your back to the receiver, as soon as you watch the hand and the arm go up, quit looking at where the body's going. You want to play the ball. And so, as she's running and you're D'ing her, bam! Hands up, looking for the ball. Run it again. Bam! Because I'm watching her arm. I'm watching her hands. That's where the ball is going. And that's where you want to keep the ball from going. So, when a receiver's arm starts to go up and you're behind him, looking at him, and watching the arm go up, that's when you look for the ball. And I guarantee you we'll have more turnovers, we'll have more knockdowns, and you'll have less pass interference penalties, okay? Because gotta play the hands. Gotta play the arms. That's where the ball's going. And I'm watching this in the NFL now, and a lot of people...
Sound a little winded there, Rob.
These DBs are not... these DBs are not looking black for the ball. They're not playing the ball.
Well, you could blame their coach, and that's going to be Jim O'Neill. He's the guy that's the defensive back coach for the Raiders.
Where do they find him at?
I don't know.
Why isn't he coaching on the Raiders?
Well, why isn't it? Yeah, exactly. That would have been another exclusive. But why isn't he teaching them that? I mean, because I see if you turn around, then you won't get pass interference. It's when you're faced directly towards a receiver and you just run with him the way that Trayvon Mullen did a few times. You're not going to be able to defend. You've got the
speed and you're running behind him. Don't worry about trying to get over him. You're not playing the man. You're playing the ball. Football. It's about the ball. The quarterback has the ball. He's throwing to another guy who's going to catch the ball. Right. You're not worried about catching the guy. Mm-hmm. You want to catch the ball. So the DBs have, and just period, defensive backs, linebackers it works for too. You play the ball. Look for the ball. Only one person can have it at a time. Why not you? On the turnover, on the interception.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was Raider Rob's demonstration. Raider Rob.
School of Football Coaching 101.
Play the ball.
You need a drink after that, I think.
I've got one. Play the ball.
Anyways, yeah. So there's a lot of things we want to talk about today, but there's something I definitely wanted to bring to the table that a lot of Raider fans are familiar with.
Great win in Cleveland.
Not just Raider fans, but sports fans and Bay Area fans. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to talk a little bit today about one of my favorite establishments sports bars. Now, during the course of this pandemic, the season from hell, a lot of businesses are closing. A lot of people are losing things right now, losing homes, losing. We're losing things. We're losing.
Yep.
Well, right now, I wore the T-shirt tonight.
Ricky's, baby.
All right. Ricky's in San Leandro. What was it? Sports Illustrated called them the number two sports bar in the nation. No, they're number one.
They were number one.
All right, yes. Ricky's is number one. It's the best. It's the greatest sports bar on the planet.
And Gina.
And they're enduring a situation right now. And I'll even go back further a little bit more than that. Is that Tina Ricardo, Ricky's wife? She's been pretty much running the place now for a few years because Ricky, our great friend Ricky, is like family to us, has been suffering from, I don't know if it's Alzheimer's or dementia, but serious health issues. And I have seen him, and I could see the effects of it. Okay. And it's just hard to see because Ricky, he's like Al Davis, of sports bars. He ran that place like a well-oiled machine. He was cracking the whip. If he didn't like you, the bouncers would be kicking you out the door. And if he did like you, which he loved all of us, and we love him, he's treat you like family, and literally like family. Yeah. I mean, I probably
he had the style of a maitre d' for a fine dining.
Very old school,
in Beverly Hills or in Miami Beach, Cocoa Beach somewhere back in the the 60s, whatever. Very suave.
He could tell he came from that era.
Yeah,
yes.
The way he ran it,
Yeah.
And right now, Ricky's unfortunately is on the verge of possibly closing. And it's been around since 1946. Yeah. Ricky Ricardo grew up there and was a Raider fan. It was the Raider bar.
Started it, yeah.
From my personal experience, when I first met Ricky, over 20 years ago, he came up to me and said hello and shook my hand because he heard me calling on the radio show. Guys like Bob France and JT the Brick, and he knew who I was. And he came up to me and introduced himself. And then from that point on, we made this friendship. Next thing you know, my band RaiderHed was the house band at all the Raider fan events for about 15 years. So that's the kind of relationship we had with them. And of course, Tina, even when John Gruden got traded by Al Davis to the Bucks, because she's John Gruden's number one fan, she was wearing Bucks shirts in front of all the Raider fans every game.
We let her.
Saying, fuck you. And, hey, she ran that place.
And also one of the great, the man was very charitable and always had an open heart for all Raider fans and an open door for Raider fans. And, of course, maintained Ricky's popularity and maintained the business when the Raiders had left. The first time from Oakland in 1981, Ricky's Sports Bar had been a centerpiece of the Raiders at that time in their first incarnation in Oakland. And so that was a big hit to him, never mind COVID or any kind of other crisis. And yet he kept that bar open because there was a lot of rejection from fans for the team moving to LA, and so business wasn't as booming as it had been. Mm-hmm. But the popularity stayed. He was able to keep it survive.
That's amazing. He kept it going while the Raiders were in LA.
Yeah. Right. And again, in his charitable nature, one of the things that I will always love him for and thank him for, forever, is that when we were starting out in this new medium of internet and trying to establish our show at the time, no one really knew what this was all about. And of course, there have been radio shows and people do radio remotes from bars, but it was the fact that it was plugged into this new medium. And Ricky was very receptive. We were doing some barnstorming at the time until we had found a permanent studio. The Stone got a warehouse out in Hayward, and we were able to make that our permanent home for a while. But before that, we were barnstorming some different places, Roosters Club Bar in Alameda, and we were at the secret Van Damme location in San Leandro.
We were all over the place.
Yeah, Ricky's opened his doors to us at a a time when we were transitioning. Our popularity was starting to swell, and he let us have the back room there and do our show, and the front room too at times. And we had some great interviews there. Discovered Dennis Dixon, for all you Pittsburgh Steelers fans, gave him his first ever interview.
Yeah, Dennis Dixon. The interview of Dennis Dixon.
Out of San Leandro High, brought him on. John Vella, great famous interview.
That was pretty cool to see a high school kid out of Oakland that we got to talk to and get to know go into the NFL and score touchdowns.
Yeah.
Monty Stickles, Marv Hubbard.
Marv Hubbard.
Marv Hubbard. Let's talk about Marv Hubbard real quick.
Mother Hubbard. He'd be at the bar and then he'd listen to us talk. And, we were doing our show and we would be on the show.
Beer to us.
We would do the show. He would be at the bar listening to us talk like you said. But it was the way he was just kind of crept up towards us.
Yeah, he got closer and closer.
And he had a few drinks in him at the time. Marv Hubbard was a regular at Ricky's at the bar, and everybody loved Marv Hubbard.
Yeah.
But for us to be out, and then, of course, we would get Marv Hubbard to talk with us on the air. And as response to everything was, you gotta run the ball more. So I think about Marv Hubbard.
Rest in power.
You gotta run the ball.
Yes.
That's the answer to everything in life. Just run the fucking ball, man.
Run the ball. But a great popular place. Ricky and Tina, great hosts, and that place is a treasured piece of Raider history. And if you're ever in the Oakland Bay Area, go out to San Leandro, Hesperian Boulevard, and East 14th and visit Ricky's Sports Theater and Grill. But yeah, go ahead.
What are some other ways we can help?
Well, the way that I know of anyways is there's a GoFundMe page on the internet that Raider fans all around the world are contributing to and donating to, and that is on GoFundMe, Save Ricky's Sports Bar.
Okay.
Save Ricky's Sports Bar. So that's what you do. Go there. If you want to donate $10, $5, $20, $100, I have seen quite a few $100 donations, which is really cool to see. Gorilla Rilla donated $1,000 to Ricky's.
Right on.
I mean, Ricky,
on,
that's the kind of a relationship, of course, a lot of these fans have had. Now, obviously, not a lot of people can afford that much. But if you're a millionaire and you want to donate $1 million, that's good too.
Yeah.
We'll take what we can get. Like I said, small and big, medium and large. We'd like to at least have a fighting chance in this pandemic season from hell, as I keep calling it.
And a lot of you international fans that are tuning in us, we know, that a lot of international fans are watching us and have clicked in and what have you. Some of you know Ricky, and if you don't know Ricky, you know his reputation, equivalent to your pubs over in England or any of your other little bars or what have you. This is what Ricky's is too, and he's always had an open door to the international fans. Many of the international fans of the Raider Nation from around the world have, kicked it at Ricky's, and man, so your international fans, is open to you too to GoFundMe, Save Ricky Sports Bar, and man, around the world, he's just very respected, and he is a icon of the Oakland Raider culture. And we love you, Ricky, man.
Yeah. One more time.
Tina.
We love you. Yeah.
GoFundMe, Save Ricky Sports Bar. Do it.
All right.
Do it.
There you have it.
All right.
Right on. Thank you, folks. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. On that note now, Rob, I know you had a new product to bring to the table today, literally.
Yeah, this is going around. I want to let all our fans here in Las Vegas know, and even if you're, outside of Las Vegas, but here in Las Vegas, Sports Water, powered by Waterco, is doing a promotional special limited edition spring water.
Is it any better than my regular everyday?
Yeah, because that ain't even got no fucking tag or anything on it.
There's definitely no Raider logo on it.
A lot of you folks went to the store back in the day, or you know of the generic products, how you would go in and buy beans, and it just says beans on it.
Yeah.
That's what the fuck that is. What is that? Where did you get that from?
I rip the labels off the water all the time.
Oh, you rip the labels.
So I know it's me.
No free promotion.
No free promotion.
And so this is the limited edition,
Paid
like
promotion.
I said, Sports Water by Waterco. And it's the limited edition here locally in Las Vegas of the Just Win Baby Raider inscribed spring water. So if you're in Vegas, get some of these. and support the cause here. Limited edition. You might want this for your collection. For all you Las Vegas Raider fans that are starting your collection of, Las Vegas Raider memorabilia and getting all into the groove of the Raiders being here, or just the Raider Nation fans in general, this is a good little item to have. And the water's pretty good. I've had one. It's pretty good. But, what do you tell? They put it in a bottle.
Freaking water.
It's pretty good. It's water.
Look for the bottle of water with the Raider logo on it.
It tastes like water.
You can see right behind inside, it says "Just Win, baby."
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Inside the little inseam inside the bottle. So anyway, I'm a collector of things, as you can tell.
Anything Raider. Anything Raider, Rob will buy it.
Yeah, so you... Las Vegas Raiders Spring Water, brought to you by Sports Water, powered by Waterco and Uncle Rob. Anyway, that's what's up with that,
man.
Well, we got one more game here before it's all said and done to talk about. And we are now going to Los Angeles. Now, I have a question that I'll propose to the panel. Mm-hmm. Of course, you can comment down here and maybe give me some ideas.
You can like and subscribe.
Now, I played in the band RaiderHed. We wrote a song a few years back, well, a decade or two back, called South Oakland, because for years they were the San Diego Chargers, okay? And we considered when the Raider Nation came down and took over San Diego, which they did every single game, we nicknamed it and wrote music and talked about it, called it South Oakland. So now that the San Diego Chargers of Los Angeles, because that's what I call them now.
Oh my goodness.
They're not even the Los Angeles LA
San
Chargers
Diego
yet.
Chargers of Los Angeles.
The San Diego Chargers of Los Angeles.
I'll never say LA.
Yeah, exactly. So, bottom line is, now that what kind of this is all new territory for us right now. And I want to write a new song. And I want Raider fans to have a new nickname for LA. I mean, we know it's a home game because Raider fans always take over LA, and LA's part of the territory, okay?
Yeah.
Raiders got the Bay Area, Vegas, LA, you got the whole entire West Coast. So, my question is to the Raider fans out there, is there a new nickname for, for example, but it doesn't sound really good, West Vegas? In other words, what could we use? What could we say? What could we throw out there?
What we've always said. Losers. Since 1960, with your pretty fucking pajama outfits on, you get cutest team of the year award every fucking year, and that's the only championship you clowns got. Okay, I'll never say LA because I don't go there much. Okay, but I used to go to San Diego, and that's where you should have a football team. And I hope one day some bandits steal a team and bring them back to San Diego. But y'all don't have the fucking guts because you're eating fish tacos and you're on the beach playing with your toes. Okay, I hate you motherfuckers. I hate you more than the Bronco fans. I hate you more than Chiefs fans. I hate you more than Niner fans. We all know this. We don't have a relationship. Okay? Let me tell you something, all right? You sorry bums. All right? You'll never be anything like you haven't been shit since 1960. And nobody cares about those championships at Balboa Stadium back in the 60s, okay? I mean, Keith Lincoln, of course, was great. Lance Allworth. And yes, you birthed Al Davis.
Bambi? You're talking about Bambi?
Bambi. Okay? And y'all play like a bunch of Bambis. A bunch of Bambis. A bunch of Lambies. You're the same Chargers you've always been. And they've built you a big movie theater of a stadium, and you motherfuckers are going to have a dud there. You're going to be a flop, okay? So my wish is that you go back to San Diego one day, because that was a fuck-up. You should have never moved. I'll grant you that.
I concur.
Okay?
Yes,
but after that, I don't give a fuck about you. I forget what his question was or answer, okay? But I just wanted y'all to have a message from old Raider Rob for 2020. COVID didn't get you, but losing will. Okay? You're going to always be losers. Always.
You see the way they dropped the ball big time with Denver just this last weekend.
I know, but they got a lot of great calls, though.
That's true.
They got helped out, and that's jacked up.
Now, they do got the young quarterback,
Justin Herbert is good.
Who's very classic, the tall, strong-armed quarterback that you're always
3
looking
touchdowns.
for.
He's not a game manager. He's a killer.
He's not.
I'm going to get to see my guy, Kenneth Murray, who I wanted in the draft, linebacker.
Right,
We took Damon Arnett instead. And Damon Arnett's another player like I talked about.
What has he got? Rabies? When is he coming back?
I don't know. Is he ever going to come back?
Yeah. He
Gotta ask Jim O'Neill.
He hurt his hand. He hurt his thumb. He's going to specialists. He's going to.
I hurt my thumb a lot too.
Or like that other kid used to have headaches, but anyway.
So, I mean, look, Damon Arnett.
How dare you think would pay?
Yeah.
I think Damon Arnett's still going to pay dividends. I don't think Mike Mayock went and got him over Kenneth Murray if he didn't think that he was the guy. But because I wanted Kenneth Murray, I'm still watching him. We do that. Usually the guys that we want, they end up on another team.
Yeah.
And then we kind of
Doing
watch
well.
to see what they do. Yeah, exactly. So we're going to go against him. Josh Jacobs is going to get to know him really good, obviously, next week.
But speaking of LA, before you get to Josh Jacobs,
Sure.
Just back to my rant on you,
Get closer.
San Diego
You
Chargers.
gotta-
Right, lean in.
I want to give you a public service announcement in Southern California, especially for you Raider fans visiting LA. The Los Angeles Lakers and the Los Angeles Dodgers, respectively, in the last 2 weeks have won championships, 17 days apart. Los Angeles fans are going to be intolerable. Okay, and all of us in the
They
sports
already
culture,
are,
professional sports culture who know about LA fans. Okay, so stay away from them. If they're one of them's in the middle of the street, half naked with a Laker flag on, let him be.
Keep going.
Okay? This is not a time for Karens to appear on the streets of LA, fucking with people in purple or gold and dark and blue. Okay, pseudo and kinda.
Right.
Congratulations to both of you. You know, but anyway, yeah. So it's going
like you
down.
say, though,
Will the Chargers be the third team?
The
Are they
Chargers,
possible?
no.
No, not at 2.
Yeah.
What are they? 2-4? No.
Yeah.
They keep
I was
blowing
teasing.
leads.
Even the Rams ain't going to be it. The Rams had their chance last year, or not last year, the year before, to win a Super Bowl, to try to sell that new stadium, and it didn't happen for them either.
Oh, when they lay down for Tommy Boy?
Yeah, exactly. So, no love for any of them. But, so the Raiders are going into Los Angeles to play at SoFi for their home game. Still eats us all up alive, the fact that no fans are going to be in the stands, whether it's LA or Las Vegas.
Yeah.
It's obviously a West Coast thing, because I see it all over
Well, I'm thinking
the rest of the country. There's fans
out
out there in
I
the
think,
stands.
I think they mentioned, I talked to my neighbor today across the street, a Raider fan, and he mentioned,
Oh, he must know.
he mentioned that that they're going to let fans in.
Into what?
They are
They're
going
gonna,
to this
they're going to let
season.
fans into the stadium.
Allegiant?
Yeah.
Well, that would be great.
It would be. But
Fans were there for the
West End.
UNLV game Saturday against University of Reno.
2000, right?
Yeah,
2000.
although I didn't like all that red, it clashed with the black seats. But from a standpoint,
Well, we did have
That
a
is
bet,
your
a running bet to see, because Mark Davis did say that no, there won't be any fans this year, and I think it was a good call. He was, he just made the right call at the right time. But because things change and times change, and there's still the election is tomorrow.
you can't have a new house. You can't have a new house and have
Okay.
somewhat of a housewarming.
And if they start to get maybe on a playoff run,
Right,
and games
exactly.
really start to matter,
We're gonna have to open it
If we're
up.
gonna have fans in Cleveland at
Raider
45
Homer
now,
claims that they're not going to do it.
who?
Raider Homer. He claimed
Oh.
that they're not going to open up the doors because Mark Davis, but I'm still saying
I'm with Raider
that
Homer on that.
it could happen.
Well, I
Yeah.
think it was announced today, so
Well, there you go.
Anyway,
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a great idea. I'm thankful that we are not in California right now, because that chance wouldn't even be there. Because that's their thing. They're shutting everything down. When Disney has to lay some people off
Disney?
and complain, 28,000 people, and then complain that the state is not letting them be able to do this, a lot of people are very unhappy.
Well, look at all the money the Rams are losing as the
Yeah.
anchor tenant of SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, and then the Chargers, who are the Cato,
All that concession
the
money.
Cato Kalen,
Right.
of the SoFi Stadium. They're renting space there. They're really
Kalen.
losing money because they don't have much of a fan base to begin with.
Right,
In Los Angeles,
Right, they're taking a hit.
so they're really taking a hit for what would have shown up. They were only averaging about 20-something thousand in Carson for the 3 years that they played there. So, but yeah, we're going into San Diego. Defense looks good. They are a very scrappy team. They love to run the ball, of course. And Lynn has, like I said, has given the keys to Herbert. And the thing about Herbert that we're going to have to watch with Herbert is that he has an unassuming speed. The kid can run. And you won't think it because, like Stone said, he's the classic drop back
as
quarterback,
obvious.
and it may be a option last resort type scenario. No, it's not. No, it's not. Much like Josh Allen, he's kind of sneaky. And the kid can run. I watched him in Oregon all his years up there, and he does have some mobility. So don't be fooled by the fact that he is just a classic stand-up quarterback right now, and that's all we're pretty much getting a taste of. He is versatile. And, you know, it's a thing with us where we've got, again, like we've been saying for the show, consistency. You know, there has to be consistency. Carr has to go on and pick on that underneath. They have a stout defense. Joey Bosa may be out. Looks like he's got an injury that may keep him out of this game, possibly. So that's going to be cool on the end. We need to exploit that weak side.
You always take advantage. We took advantage of the fact that Myles Garrett couldn't play.
Exactly.
They take advantage of us when we got guys
so we got to do that
so
again.
That's just the way it goes.
But you're playing in LA. You're playing in a controlled environment as far as atmosphere. And so this is one of those games where a combination of what we've seen with the passing game, the first 5 games, and then, of course, when we dominated using really focused on the run during those other games, you know, where we at? Oh, okay. Where we focus on the running game and the other game. Now I'm meshing those two together. Being in LA and going up against the Chargers, like I said, this in a controlled environment is where we can really try to stretch out our pass game and really try to, like Stone said earlier, get Ruggs back more involved, open it up more with Renfro down that seam.
It's going to be indoors, no elements.
Exactly. So let's play with our passing game a little bit. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, they're going to have to mix it up and get creative.
I'm going to see the defense now do what it is that we demonstrated here and take advantage because, yes, you know, Justin's great at what he does, but he throws some INTs because he's always throwing.
And he's a kid.
I
mean, the guy could do a Clearasil commercial. You see him? He's starting to get, they're calling him Pimple Face. But because he looks like a 14-year-old kid. He looks like a kid. So that I'm agreeing with you as far as that.
We can take advantage
Here I am bragging about Derek Carr, and I still will. I keep winning games. I'm a Derek Carr fan. But there's no reason why Derek Carr and the Oakland Raiders are the offense that went into Kansas City and the way the defense has played on the road and go and beat Justin Herbert. And the rest of the San Diego Chargers of Los Angeles.
Yeah, no, this should be a game where, like I said, we open it up. Don't get too fancy, but it's a turn it loose game. Why not? You know, you got a team that's at 2-5 or whatever they're at.
And they just scored 30 points the other night in Mile High.
They're good. They score points.
But again, like I said 2 weeks ago, with the up-and-coming competition with Herbert and Mahomes pretty much supplanting himself as the premier quarterback in the AFC West, and then Drew Lock, who came out of Purdue and has been there 2 years in Denver, and they've been forever trying to find a replacement for Elway. Don't know that he is, but he had a comeback win and a clutch win, steely-eyed, you know, with great confidence, and won that game. You know what I'm saying? So this is the competition that before we even start talking about Super Bowl contending and all that with Derek Carr and me walking around half naked, you got that competition in the AFC West where twice a year he's got to battle these three quarterbacks who are upcoming and making a name for themselves, you know, already. So, that's true. This is going to be a good test of veteran against young, and we'll see what Gruden trusts Carr to do, you know, against Herbert and against, like I said, a stout defense, but a defense that's a little flimsy in the defense backfield. And like us, that we've had problems this year. San Diego doesn't tackle well, and they don't play contained too well either. So, they're giving up a lot of points. They're putting up points, but they're giving up a lot of points, too.
They're giving up a lot. So we can take advantage of that. On both sides of the ball, that can work for us. And Derek just has to have a little confidence, a lot of confidence, actually. Seriously, dude. You need to snap out of whatever's going on with you and use whatever your coach is telling you is true. He knows that it can work. He needs you to believe that it can work. And then you guys can go downfield when you need to and score those touchdowns in the red zone. Enough of this discussing things, dude. Pass the ball when you have the opportunity. He's giving you the plays. You need to trust that he's right, and you need to trust you're right.
If Ruggs is open, just throw the ball.
Get it there.
Get it there.
Don't wait.
I'm going to call it 27-14 Raiders.
Oh, man, are we calling it? Here we
go
again.
I'm just saying.
He's calling it. You don't have to call it.
Okay,
you don't have to call it.
Well, it's pressure. You know?
Calling all dogs, though, as we're ready to roll out of here. This is, part of our entertainment segment, and we're going to be doing more of that, too, because it is sports entertainment. No, we hope we've been entertaining for the last hour for you, and we thank all you people that have been checking in, that have been liking the show, and all you views that we've been getting. We appreciate it so much, and we're just trying to tighten it. Stone always tells us after every show, it's getting better. It's getting better. And that's what you want. You want that type of encouragement. That's what we're saying with the Raiders, man. You got to keep encouraging these guys that it's getting better. You can do it. You can make it better. You can tighten it up, and you can win. So, anyway, that's what's up with that. But just a little aside. Yeah, back to the hometown.
Wait. The hometown. We're going back to Oakland?
We're going back to Oakland. We don't think so.
No, but we're not clowning. See, you're going to get a shot.
I love you. Are you kidding?
We love you,
right
of course.
Here.
But you got to go where the money is, where the opportunity is. So anyway, no offense to the town, we love you, but there is an issue going on, and it's been going on forever. And we both, respectively, and Stone too, have spent much time around the beautiful Lake Merritt area of Oakland, California. And Lake Merritt is known to be a centerpiece where people gather and socialize and all that. A lot of activity, big recreational space, of course. And one of the only natural bird habitats, the first natural bird habitat, wildlife habitat.
This is the lake where the geese that always attack.
Yeah, like to squat and shit.
She hates those geese, man.
I hate those geese. He knows it. He knew when he was in this. Yes.
Them Canadian geese.
Yeah, that flew in and never left.
They take over.
Yeah.
Well, an issue that's always been kind of like one of these little social and civic issues in Oakland is dogs off their leashes. And because Oakland has so many open spaces and green spaces, and particularly around the lake, we're so congested with urban traffic and foot traffic and what have you. There's been a clash always with the residents, the people that are using the lake, and dog owners. And dog owners who let their dogs shit everywhere, and dog owners who let their dogs off the leash, and blah, 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 blah. And there's been all kind of incidences and problems over the years, and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, this one patch of land over by Lake Merritt near 580 Freeway has been being bickered about politically and civically for the last 14 years. I found out when I came across this article checking in on the hometown on one of the newspapers up there to get this dog park built for these dogs in a highly congested area where there's a lot of dog traffic, and it's more than it was when we were kids and when we were younger too, and back in the 80s when we used to kick it around the lake. It was just a different. You had more Oakland natives, so people were more respectful.
Right. And they would pick up their dog shit.
Yeah, and there wasn't as many dogs.
There were no geese.
There were no geese?
There were no geese.
And this was the heyday of Rottweilers and pit bulls being very popular in Oakland. And Lake Merritt was where, just where the hood gathered. Everybody from the town gathered on Saturdays and Sundays. But the lake, So anyway, this has been an ongoing battle, though, in this community, Lakeshore and all that. And so I saw the article and read it and all this, and they're still fighting, they're still arguing, and you got the NIMBY people that are crying, no, I don't want the dog park. Then you got the people that are advocates for the dog park, think it should be there. There are people that are split, da-da-da-da-da. The bottom line is they've been at this shit for 14 years.
Wow.
Which speaks to the just inept...
The red tape.
Back and
Are you
forth.
tying this to the Raiders and the fact that they lost the Raiders?
I'm tying it to everything in Oakland because Oakland politics for the last 25 years has been always tied up in not having the will to just make a fucking decision.
Right.
And do it.
And just do it.
And just do it and not
that's what
worry
I say. That's
about
why
who does or doesn't like it.
That's why they're in Vegas right now.
Yeah.
Because when everything was on the table for them to keep the Raiders and do everything to keep the Raiders, I mean, the ball was completely in their court.
Well, this is my time. You're saying it was leading. Yeah, it was leading to that, but it was also leading to now that our friends and family that are left behind, and those that are still diehard Oakland fans, and I understand. I understand. Y'all want to be there to see what a lot of us grew up on the 70s and 80s in Oakland and the early 90s of a fully functional city that had so much promise to be so evolved and be able to expound on its culture and on its civic identity and be a prosperous city. And y'all want to be there for that because you still believe it's going to happen. And so when I saw that, it just brought me down because it's like 14 years arguing
over a dog park. Right.
And y'all are sitting here waiting for these people to build you a baseball park. No wonder a baseball park has not been built. And no wonder, yes, the Raiders couldn't get a new stadium, and this shit was, was a big fight for years and years and years, because the Oakland politicians up there cannot get out of their own way of just saying, you know what, the hell with whatever losses we may have had in other deals, the hell with whatever internal bullshit politically may be going on from district to district and the neighbors and the da-da-da-da-da, and this argument that you should be putting money into the schools, and y'all ain't putting money in the schools. You're not putting money into the fucking roads anyway. But you can put money into something that at least brings the quality of life up, if it does that. And just shows some mobility and gives the people confidence
14 years.
that you can make a decision downtown on something. And it's just laughable that it's been 14 years in Oakland.
They can't.
That you're trying to get a fucking dog park built. And only one. Like, what are you going to do? The city is a vast city. There are dogs all over the city.
They're just talking about one.
You need dog parks in East Oakland. You need dog parks in West Oakland. You need dog parks in North Oakland. Like, up in the hills, above Skyline.
Not going to happen.
Like, so what happens when you finally get this one done? Will it be another 14 years before the second ever dog park in Oakland is built? Or
and
what
talking about elections, those are the same
ridiculous,
people,
man.
In the article that you sent, the same people that have been there for 14 years. So it's the same people arguing.
Yeah, Nancy Kerrigan and Nancy Nadell and Pat Kerrigan, whoever her name is.
Pat Kerrigan, Nancy Nadell.
The same city council motherfuckers.
It's like over and over again. And now even out in East Oakland,
why can't the dogs have a park,
you can't have anything be the bomb. Larry Reed has been there for all of my life. He's been the councilman for this one district. Now he's thinking of retiring. He's replacing himself with his daughter. She's actually on the ballot in Oakland, California.
There's a tidal wave of nepotism seeping through our new age generation.
Yeah.
Well, all the things that you're talking about here, all kind of
just confirm why you left Oakland.
Go back in. You just said it. I love the Bay Area. I love Oakland.
Love you, man.
But the fact that you lived in Oakland your whole entire life and have been such a, both of you have been hardcore, I don't know, what's the word? Not advocates, but just, you have a zeal for Oakland.
Yeah,
Oakland pride.
Oakland,
and I learned about it, certainly when I moved there, and it was hard for me to leave. But the fact of the matter is, because of these reasons, and I guess it kind of, perhaps I think we're talking really more specifically to the fans that are still in Oakland right now that we know watch the show and comment and email us and everything, that are still living there and still watching us, and we're very thankful for the fact that you still are with us. But that's why we moved, man. That's the bottom fucking line.
Sorry, you guys.
That's why we moved. Yeah. We saw even in the desert we saw greener pastures.
Right.
And the Raiders saw it. Now there's a $2 billion stadium.
It's just something,
you got to make shit happen.
It's just something about being somewhere that inspires you. And again, not to dump on the town. We love the town, but you all know what's going on in the town. So, and
I go back to Oakland as much as possible. I love it. I love the Bay Area.
I've stood for the town and stood up about for the town for many years, and put myself out there for Oakland. So my record. So again, it's not disrespect. We love Oakland, man. But just to give you an example of just what's happening here, man, and how there ain't no bullshit. It's just do it.
Went to that council meeting.
Outside of
how much is it going to cost?
Yeah,
that's
cool.
Outside of Vegas South, in the town of Henderson, they are building. They had a beautiful amphitheater out there that resembles Concord Pavilion, in our area or something like that. They tore that down. They are building for the Silver Knights, the Henderson Silver Knights, a 12,000-seat ice arena. They're going to be
in the desert,
the minor league
for a minor league hockey
team for the Golden Knights.
They're building it right now
down the street. Mm-hmm. Then in downtown Henderson, which was kind of like old Oakland or an old area of a city or what have you that needs to be revitalized. This is a little town, Henderson, of 2,000 people. Downtown, across from their city hall, where they used to have a flea market and there's a big parking lot and stuff over there. They are building an ice rink, which is going to be the practice facility
That's crazy.
and a public rink. The practice facility is for the minor league hockey team that's going to be 3 miles to the south in its own 12,000 arena. Then you have 12,000 seat arena. Then you have MSG building the Sphere, which is going to be the largest when it's done. Enclosed amphitheater in the world, and it's going to look like a globe from outside.
Oakland can't get a new ballpark, and there's one here they just built for the minor baseball team.
Right.
Then you've got the Las Vegas ballpark and Allegiant, the Death Star, got built within 22 months.
Yeah,
at the same time,
and it's beautiful. It should be in Oakland, but it's here.
And this past weekend, the Circa Hotel and Casino in downtown on Fremont and Main opened up, okay, where the old Las Vegas Club used to be. Those of you that are from Vegas and know the Fremont Street area. It has the world's longest bar.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's fresh. I gotta go there, just sitting each part of it.
I mean, for people that are creative types like us, and my restaurant is going to be downtown in the art district that they're revitalizing now, and what have you. Stone is out here doing art and doing things. I mean, just recently, if you don't mind me talking about it, he just did a whole bunch of guitar.
Yeah, you can talk about it.
Just did a whole bunch of guitar work for a very prominent bass player, and probably your favorite bass player growing up if you grew up in the era of the 1970s and 80s. Okay, Kiss. He did a whole line of artwork for the
StonerDude exclusive.
Tongued one, Gene Simmons, okay? And I've watched Stone hustle for 20 years, his art, from his days being, in Alameda, the little storefront, all the way to now in Vegas. And this has been his greatest leap. And all the stuff he's done for Pantera and album covers, my album cover, now doing my book cover, all the other art he's done for people, logos, all that. Since he's been here, he has flourished beyond, and that's just being a graphic independent contractor, independent artist, graphic artist, man. Like, there's opportunity.
I think
here.
Ultimately you have to go where you
you see it being built around you. It inspires you. Excuse me, that's all I want to get.
When you think of Vegas, okay, Vegas was built on that mentality originally. Way back in the old days, there was a post in the middle of nowhere where travelers would go. And ultimately, there were brothels were made, and gambling eventually came into the situation. A place where people could go and see a vision. Obviously, the old gangsters of the 50s and 60s, they saw the
home
vision.
for dreamers.
And Al Davis used to come here. This was like a second home from him. Mm-hmm. He used to come hang out in Vegas all the time.
He had an annual Raiders reunion here, alumni reunion.
He imagined a stadium out here many years ago. He visualized it. And, ultimately, we love the Bay Area. We love Oakland. But ultimately, just some of our fans out there that would wonder why these decisions were made. We're talking from the little people like us to the big folks with the billions of dollars doing big things. Is because in life you got to go out there and you got to have a vision of opportunity. You got to go make it happen. And for you, those of you that are still there, make it happen, man. Make it happen. I would love nothing more than to go back to the Bay and see some new things being revolutionized and changed for the better for a new generation.
I said it before I left. I'm going to say it again, and I've heard some rumblings that maybe it is happening. But for you people up there, and y'all know who you are, our partners that are also into this fan thing, and you were just so into being advocates for trying to keep the Raiders there, and you got yourself out on the front line and dealt with the politics and all that, and some of you are still hanging on to trying to keep the A's there and are working on the advocacy of that. That's all beautiful and swell. Football sells in Oakland, and I think that same consortium of fans that feel that passion to try to stand up politically and civically to rail against the A's, the Raiders leaving, should also be trying to get word up and drum up support for our expansion team in Oakland. You know what I'm saying? Because Oakland deserves football. And I can just imagine an expansion team. I wish I had enough money to be rich enough one day and I'd come back home and bring the team here and try to get one there. That's true shit.
RaiderFan Radio exclusive.
Oakland should have a team in every facet Yeah, it's baseball right now. You're hanging on to that by a thread, but you should have the NBA and you should have a football team because you're the elite of fan. And they know it all over this world, particularly San Francisco, who just insisted on having and getting the Warriors to come back. And, the Warriors, suddenly they're all into the Warriors, but really they never were because the stadium was filled with people from Oakland who supported the team when it lost. So now that they're winning, of course, San Francisco wants them. But what they're doing is they've released the Oakland Forever jersey to try to draw in Oakland because they said they wanted to deepen their ties and impact in Oakland.
You had fucking ties in Oakland for
You were in Oakland.
You were in
That's what
Oakland.
the Warriors president said, Rick Welts.
Man, get the fuck out
They
of
want
here,
Oakland's
dude.
money because that stadium is empty like it was when the Warriors played there prior 47 years ago. When they were playing there, you didn't come out and support the team. So you're not going to support them now. But they insisted on being there. So do not go over there and spend your money. Please, Oakland.
They trying to milk.
They want Oakland
They
fans
want Oakland
in San
money.
Francisco. They want
Because that was your
Oakland
real
Dome.
fan base. You ain't
Yeah.
never gonna have that passion and energy and that
They're
arena.
not like that there.
Whatever that's over there. What is it? Bank of San Francisco
I don't
Stadium
even know
or
what
Chase.
it's
Chase,
called, man. They
yeah.
change
whatever
all
the
the
fuck
time.
it is. Well, what kind of slap shit is that, man? You were in Oakland.
Right.
You know, you
With
could have
the
built a new
revitalized
arena in
stadium.
Oakland. But yeah, you didn't have, half of 1 year in that new concrete bullshit you built over there, and ain't nobody feeling it. And,
You aren't winning.
As we've been saying for years, and I used to say on JG the Brick Show and all that shit, San Fraud Cisco.
Once again.
Okay, they're frauds over there, man. Them fans ain't real. They don't even play basketball over there. You know, the greatest basketball player ever come out of San Francisco other than was fucking Quentin Daly. Way back in the 80s. I was going to say Bill Russell, but Bill Russell went to USF, so we'll give you half of that. But he's from the town, West Oakland. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, he is.
So,
I know that when the Warriors were in Oakland all those years,
ain't that some shit?
whether they
Oakland
have
forever.
when they have losing seasons or winning seasons, a lot of losing seasons, unfortunately.
A lot of losing seasons.
But the stadium was still full. Mm-hmm. There was still an energy about going to see a basketball.
They're playing y'all for suckers because they know, number one,
We believe, because we do.
We are some of the most fashionable fans in sports. Look what we've done with Silver and Black. You know, and that whole merchandising schematic there. The A's.
Take your Raider water, dude.
Raider water.
The A's have always had popular colors, the green and gold.
Green and
whatever.
gold.
You know,
That's
and
the
so
Oakland. That's Oakland's
you
color.
know that Oakland fans, we love Oakland. Anything to say Oakland on that town shit, and they play. And I know some of my fans I know up there right now who are gonna sell their asses out and buy that shit. You know,
Don't
fuck
go.
giving
Don't
the
let
San
them do
Francisco
that to
Warriors
you.
any money,
Yeah.
trying to placate y'all with some Oakland apparel and shit.
Oakland
fuck
forever.
that shit. You know, that's a slap in the face, man.
And on that note,
On that note, yeah.
I think we wrapped.
Yeah, well,
What do
thanks
you
for coming
think?
out and hanging out for another episode, show number 5
Like and
of
subscribe.
Raider Fan Radio. Yeah, of course. RaiderFanRadio at gmail.com
Yes.
is the email. And you can also comment and like and subscribe to our channel.
Yes,
we
you
want
can.
more subscribers. We need more subscribers.
Yeah,
You know,
please
let's get down to the brass tacks. We'll make money eventually.
Money?
And we'll
when
give
we
it
get
back
more
to
subscribers.
you.
We will
We'll
share
make it. We'll
with
make
you.
it all better for everybody.
We're gonna
Yeah.
trust
But
us.
especially us.
Trust us. We're gonna share it with you.
Yes.
You know,
Share the wealth.
read my lips.
No new taxes.
Y'all stay safe out there, Raider Nation. God bless all of
Oh,
y'all.
one last
One last thing. from
one
Stone.
last thing. One more time
Oh,
for
yeah,
the
one
road.
more time.
Save Ricky.
Ricky's and San Leandro. GoFundMe.
Yes.
Save Ricky's Sports Bar. On that note, this is the second note. We'll see you next time. Later, Raider.
Stay Raider.
The views and opinions of RaiderFanRadio.Vegas, RaiderFanRadio.com, and Raider Fan Radio Media are not the views and opinions of the Las Vegas Raiders, Al Davis Football Inc., or the National Football League. RaiderFanRadio.Vegas is an independent media source.